Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So clearly I have a child here, and you can tell by the title I am going to be sharing my birth story with you guys today. So I had a very, I don't know how to even describe it besides it being like just super fast, quick, not in control labor. And this video is not going to be edited fancy because I have a newborn and I already tried filming this video and it didn't really work out. So I'm just going to wing it, tell you guys my birth story, also try to do it now so that it's just more fresh in my mind, because if I wait a bit more I might just forget these small details. I'm sure I'm already forgetting, I feel like, small things here and there. But without further ado, let's get into this birth story. So here is baby girl. First of all, let me just show you guys. She is the cutest thing ever. She makes these funny noises. And she's just gonna hang out with us. I fed her, so she should be chill, which is another thing. We'll see if she'll allow me to talk. Overall, she's pretty easy, but newborns, they kind of run your life, kids in general. So let's go back to around my 36-week appointment. So at 36 weeks, I went in for a routine appointment and I found out that she was breech. Now, I had an elective ultrasound around 32, 33-ish weeks, and she was head down. She was head down pretty much my whole pregnancy, but she decided to flip last minute around 33, 34-ish weeks. And I found out on my 36-week appointment. Now, the midwife wasn't too concerned. She's like, you still have about a month to try to flip her. And then there is something that we can try called an ECV, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it's where they try to manually flip the baby by having one hand on the head and one hand on the bum and trying to flip the baby, which is really uncomfortable. A lot of people said that it's not uncomfortable for them, but it is really uncomfortable. Because I did end up having that done, just not in time. So 36 weeks, I find that out, and I start doing everything under the sun to try to get her to flip. So I'm going to Webster certified chiropractor. I'm doing spinning babies multiple times a day. I'm doing everything that I can to try to flip this baby. So 37 weeks and 4 days, it was a Wednesday night, and I'm doing my typical spinning babies. I went to the chiropractor that morning, and it was just like any other work day. I've been working normal up until I delivered her. So this was Wednesday night. I was 37 weeks plus 4 days. So that following morning at 1:30 in the morning, I was 37 plus 5. And at 1:30 in the morning, I woke up to like what felt like moderate period, like cramping. And it was in the front, like the front lower part. And I just kind of was like, oh, I shouldn't be really experiencing that, but I didn't think too much of it. I was kind of in and out of sleep anyway. And so I was like, okay, that's weird. So I kind of squirmed around in bed a little bit because I definitely, felt like they were moderate and I woke up from them. So I dozed off to sleep, and then I felt another cramp, another wave around 3 to 4 minutes later. And I thought, that's not something I should be experiencing right now. This is not Braxton Hicks. This is not pre-labor. This is like, I can't fall back asleep cramps. So I ended up going out to the living room, and my husband's still sleeping because I've been really prepping my mind for a natural unmedicated vaginal delivery. So up until this point, I knew that like sometimes you just have to deny the contractions, deny the early labor so that you have a better chance of delivering unmedicated. And I wanted to try an unmedicated delivery because I knew that like my body, for the most part, women's body will take care of the delivery on its own, and getting that epidural and all that can stall labor a lot of the times. So I just wanted to give that a shot. Well, you can plan all you want, let's just say that. So I was experiencing these contractions for about close to 2 hours, and then I decided to text my doula that I've been experiencing this, and I sent her a screenshot of the contraction app and just kind of how my contractions were looking, and she's like, what is your discharge looking? Is there anything different that you notice when you go into the bathroom? And at that point, I did not go use the bathroom yet. So I went to go use the bathroom and I noticed, you know, I had some pink going on. And so she's like, that's the real deal. You are in labor. And when you're 37 weeks and 5 days and it's your first baby, you're thinking you're gonna go past due. Well, that's not always the case. And I'm not sure if the spinning babies put me into labor or because she was breech and my body knew that she wasn't gonna flip, that I just kind of let her come earlier because, you know, they're a bit smaller at 37 plus 5. Because towards the end of your pregnancy, the last few weeks, the baby gains the most fat. So I texted her, she's like, you're in labor. And I'm like, wait, what do I do? So I end up waking up my husband as I'm going through contractions. So every 3 to 6-ish minutes, I'm getting a wave of contractions that are lasting between 30 to 40 seconds. So they definitely are picking up. They're getting stronger. I'm having to really focus through them. And let me just tell you, it hurts. And I didn't even, you guys will find out, but I didn't even have a vaginal delivery. So I ended up calling my midwife, and I'm like, not my midwife, but because I kind of was seeing multiple midwives just to kind of meet every single one. And I was like, I'm baby girl is breech, I'm in labor, what do I do? Do I go in? And I knew that they would have me come in even just to check, but it's kind of like you're almost in denial because you're like, am I seriously in labor at 37 plus 5? And I was. So we actually, funny enough, I had a carry-on kind of opened and I would throw in things here and there that I'm like, I don't need right now, but I'll need that at the hospital. And so we were slowly packing the hospital bag, but we did not have anything finished. We didn't have the car seat installed, none of that, which is not a big deal because he ended up going home and picking it up, or my husband's dad ended up dropping it off. But you can also just have your husband go and pick it up from home. It's not a big deal while you're at the hospital. And he installed the car seat anyway. So it's okay, but just when you're going through contractions, the last thing you want to do is like think about what you need. So I pretty much had my hospital bag packed, so that was good, except for like chargers and like toothpaste, like certain things that like you don't pack until the last minute. And so as I'm going through these contractions, I'm throwing stuff together in the, you know, in the carry-on, last minute things. And actually we didn't need anything extra. So we did a good job with that. But that weekend before, I remember my husband and I like looking at the carry-on, and my husband's like, you know, we have time, you know, it's just best to have everything packed and done by 36 weeks because you never know. You could be like me where my first baby, I had her at 37 plus 5. So we pack everything up, and by this point, it's close to 4 a.m. I started having contractions at 1:30 in the morning, and we are driving to the hospital. The hospital is 15 minutes away, and I had a good 3 to 4 contractions on the way there. And I'm like, these are very uncomfortable to deal with when you're sitting. And I don't know how people like push on their back. I guess it's fine if you have an epidural, but like I had to lay on my back at one point in triage, and as I was going through contractions, and that is the worst position to labor in my experience, is on your back. Like I said, I didn't have any medication, so maybe that's why, but when you're unmedicated, laying on your back is like one of the worst in my opinion. But everybody is different, so maybe for another woman laying on her back unmedicated would be perfectly fine. So we get into triage. Keep in mind, I'm having these contractions pretty consistently at this point, and they're definitely like picking up. We get into triage, they check me, I'm almost 4 centimeters dilated, I'm definitely in labor, she's breech, so I don't have many options. I know certain hospitals in certain states deliver breech babies, and it's safe to deliver breech when the people delivering practice it all the time. Like, a lot of people think breech delivery is not safe, and of course there's an element to any delivery that is a risk, but when you have someone who does it all day long, they do it all the time, they know what to look out for, and they know how to deliver breech babies. And unfortunately in my state, literally my whole state, there's not one hospital that really like delivers breech babies. Sometimes we make an exception for twins if only one twin is breech. But yeah, so that was not an option at the hospital that I went to, or even in my state, pretty much. So I was like, can you guys please try an ECV on me right now? And like I explained earlier, an ECV is where they lube up your belly. You can look it up, but they lube up your belly and they grab her head and they grab her butt and they try to kind of force flip her. Now, there are risks with that because I'm also in labor, and they're like, you know, typically we don't do this when people are in labor. So two people, what's going on? It's so cute when they're sleeping. Sometimes they'll like make noises. Literally pure bliss. But anyway, so because I was in labor, two people declined to try an ECV on me, but one person just said that like they would give it a shot. They're open to trying anything. And I'm like, listen, before I go into a major surgery, I want to know that I tried everything. And I tried everything at home, but like this is the one thing that I didn't yet get the chance to try. So I want to try it now while I can before I get thrown into a major abdominal surgery. And I was just kind of concerned about like the healing time. And just for me, it was just like, after I tried the ECV and it was unsuccessful, I was at peace with a C-section. But before that, I was just like, I need to know that I tried everything, because C-section is no joke, guys. So anyway, we tried the ECV and her head was just lodged underneath my left rib. And I noticed that after the 36-week appointment, I noticed that her head was just not budging. Everything I tried, it would just stay there. So when they did the ECV, they felt that her head was just not moving, but her body was willing to move. Her head was just kind of chilling there and it was not going anywhere. So they do 3 attempts, and if the baby is doing good, well, if the baby is doing good, because they try it for like 20-30 seconds and then they monitor her heart rate for like a minute, and they do that 3 times. So she actually did pretty good heart rate wise, but she just didn't budge. So they marked it as unsuccessful. They said, we did it, we tried it, it doesn't work, or it didn't work. So then they started prepping me for a C-section. Now, at that point, I was pretty fine with the C-section because I knew that like I did everything that I could. But because of how fast things were progressing, at this point, I was like 5 centimeters dilated from 1:30 in the morning to like 5-6 in the morning. Within like 4 or 5 hours, I progressed to 5 centimeters. So I was progressing fairly quickly. And this ECV was done while they did give me a shot to kind of numb or to kind of relax my uterus, but I was still feeling contractions. So I would kind of get up in labor on my like kind of like hunched over, and then I would lay back down, and they, continued the ECV. They didn't do the ECV, like after they gave me the shot, like I didn't feel contractions for like 5 to 7 minutes, but then it started back up. So they got me all prepped, and thank goodness we hired a doula, because the anesthesiologist ended up letting the doula come back into the OR, which was so, so nice, because I just kind of zoned out just to kind of protect like my sanity because of how fast things were progressing. I was like, I cannot believe what is going on right now. Not only am I in labor, but I'm getting thrown into a C-section. So just to protect even my blood pressure and just to not freak out, I kind of like zoned out and didn't really have much emotion. So we got all prepped and ready. I got the spinal, which did not hurt. It definitely depends on the providers, I swear, because I've listened to so many stories where like spinals hurt or catheters hurt or all this hurt, and like it definitely depends on who's doing it for sure. My spinal did not hurt. They gave me the spinal, immediately laid me down and started prepping me for surgery. And I'm just gonna skim through this. They ended up, cutting me open, getting her out, and she was this petite little girl. So she was 4 pounds and 13 ounces. And it's crazy because she was just screaming. As soon as I heard that scream, I was like, oh, I can breathe. So they weighed her. She was 4 pounds, 13 ounces. They put her on my chest, and she kind of got to like nibble around my breast. And it was hard to process it because I want to say that I was like flooded with emotion right away and just so happy, but I was just in shock, to be honest. So because of her weight, the NICU team ended up taking her, and my husband went to go be with her. Now that's why I'm so happy we had a doula, because she was with me and she was kind of my support system and someone to be with me so that I wasn't alone. Now, thankfully, she didn't need to stay, or she didn't even need help in the NICU. They only took her to monitor her because of her weight, but she could regulate her blood sugar. She regulated her temp. She ate like a champ. She still eats like a champ. And so, long story short, she ended up coming back to our room that evening. So she was born at 7:24 a.m. and she was back in our room that evening. So praise God, everything was good with her. She was just a little petite gal, but everything else was fully formed. And let's just say that whole day, it was kind of good that like she wasn't with me, even though I really wanted to see her and bond with her. I felt like absolute crap that day. After my surgery, I got wheeled into recovery and immediately started pumping a lot of colostrum for her. My husband would come up, take it, and bring it down to her for her to eat. But I was just so nauseous. I was vomiting. I couldn't keep even water down. So it was good for me not to like, you know, almost be with her, because I feel like I would have been even more upset that I'm with her and I can't like bond with her because I'm vomiting. Every single time I elevated my head a little bit in bed, like I would get so sick. And after about 7 hours of laying there feeling like crap and being so dizzy, I decided, I know, like I'm gonna try to stand up and, you know, maybe possibly go see her. And I ended up standing up and vomiting, and I was just like, I just can't. And so towards the evening, I got something for a nausea, and after that, it was like smooth sailing. I felt amazing, and I only, you know, needed ibuprofen and Tylenol after my surgery. Thankfully, I mean, yeah, it hurt, but like it was bearable. And so far, like I can make a video on C-section recovery because I am over 2 weeks post C-section, and I have nothing to compare it to. Like I can't compare it to another C-section. I can't compare it to a vaginal birth, but I can just share what's going on with my recovery and how I'm feeling. But baby girl did so well. We gave birth to her, or I gave birth to her Thursday at 7:24 in the morning, and then Saturday morning, late morning, we got discharged. So we were at the hospital for not that long, and yeah, I mean, they monitored her and she just did so great. And even the pediatrician like was asking about like how much I weighed when I was born and how much Anthony weighed, and just was so shocked that she's petite but she's fully developed. Like her brain, her, just even the wrinkles on the bottom of her feet, like everything that they were looking out for to see like if she was fully developed, she has everything that a fully 40-week baby has, which is amazing. And she eats really well to this day, and thank the Lord she does not need any extra assistance. So that is how baby girl came into this world. Very unexpected. I was planning for an unmedicated, low intervention delivery, but ended up having a C-section and a breech baby. So it just goes to show that like it's good to plan and all that. And I did everything in my power. You know, we hired a doula, we paid for a birth course. I was very active in my pregnancy. We did everything that we could to make an unmedicated delivery, vaginal delivery, a high possibility, but not everything is in your control. And honestly, I'm at peace with the C-section just because I know that I did everything that I could, and I'm just like that. Like for me, it's easier for me to process something knowing that I did everything I could, and whatever outcome happened, but I did my part. So yeah, anyway, she is more than 4 pounds and 13 ounces now. She's, you know, we'll see tomorrow because she has an appointment, but her last appointment last week, she was 5 pounds 5 ounces. So she's gaining weight, she's doing great, she's eating a lot, she's pooping a lot, she's doing wonderful, and she's just an absolute blessing. Like the first week after postpartum, I was just bawling because it's like, how do I get this? How do we get this? You know, because this is just like, come on, look at her. She's just pure perfection. And yeah, she came pretty unexpectedly. She came let's see, a little over 2 weeks early. So yeah, that is the birth story. Kind of, I'm keeping some details out because this video would be really, really long, but that's the birth story of baby girl. We're both doing amazing. This is just like so great. And yeah, we named her after my mom who passed last March. So her name is Nellie, and that is not short for anything else. It's just Nellie. So baby Nellie, she's amazing. She's such a blessing, and yeah, we are obsessed. Literally would not change this for anything. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, maybe I can do a Q&A, because there's a lot that went into her story. Just, it's crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to post more, but obviously being a mom, so weird to say, being a mom, you're not on your own time frame. Like, she runs my day. Whatever she needs, that's my focus. But I wanted to make this video because I know that the more time goes on, the more you kind of forget the small details. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I can do a part 2 where I talk about, you know, things more in detail, because I absolutely loved watching birth videos when I was pregnant, and I couldn't get enough of them. Like, there's so many on YouTube. I probably watched like 50 plus. So I thought I would add to that because everyone's story is different and unique to the individual. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. When I say bye, babies, oh my goodness, she's so cute.